Can you imagine this? In one part of the world, 10 countries come together to define themselves as one. Within Asia, in a 10-country grouping called ASEAN, a unified force with a population of more than 600 million people that would rank as the 8th largest economy in the world, with an estimated value of $2.356 trillion, potentially larger than the GDP of India, Russia, or Brazil. 600 million people moving as one economy. We are expanding the borders of home, redefining what we mean by community. ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, sees 3 strong pillars that weave together, integrating communities: the political and security community, the economic community, and the socio-cultural community, redefining a new phase of relationships towards economic integration, the ASEAN way.
The ASEAN integrations will eventually create an expanded market among the members by eliminating trade barriers. It will create a freer flow of goods, services, capital, and investment. If we see it in a bigger picture, the ASEAN integrations will encourage more business collaborations and complementations in its trading and investment with the other regions.
For the first time in a long while, we have a fighting chance to succeed to our growth. Our economy is among the strongest in the world. Our workforce is young, dynamic, and global. Also, our government is making great progress in enabling businesses to thrive in a transparent and fair market.
The AEC, of course, is going to benefit all of ASEAN, and the benefit to the Philippines will depend on how prepared we are and how prepared the companies are for the changes coming ahead.
The ASEAN economic integration. It is about a single market with a production base characterized by the free flow of goods, services, investments, capitals, and skills. It is a strengthening base for policies on consumer protection, intellectual property rights, competition, and infrastructure development. It is the blue ocean space that empowers the SMEs to narrow the economic gaps between member countries and bringing value to the supply for the global marketplace. So in the case of small and medium enterprises businessmen like Juan, what does this mean?
I'm a Filipino businessman. How can I compete?
The Filipino has always been borderless, breaking boundaries through their love of travel and service that strengthens and adds fun to our tourism-related businesses. The competitive Filipino focuses on technical know-how in our manufacturing and production industries. The sustainable Filipino harnesses the richness of the land in agri-businesses. The creative Filipino's innovation and ingenuity fuels the creative industries. All these enhanced by a unique people renowned for their skill of care, relational friendliness, and service equal to none.
There are 3 things that we can do. We can upgrade our industry to be more competitive. We can improve our educational system so that we can produce more skilled talents. Or we can also try to convince the government to review the excessive regulations so that we can be more efficient in business.
How does the ASEAN economic community benefit my business?
Well, the main benefit is that we have a market now that's open to us with 650 million in population. It's a huge market, and therefore we can now prepare and bring our goods in to any of the 10 ASEAN countries.
If you've been dreaming big, the time to act is now. From the Philippines, food and snack companies have moved manufacturing to emerging markets like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. These Filipino companies are steadily increasing in their presence as key market players across the region. Small to medium enterprises have seen their market expand as tariffs have been reduced to allow furniture companies, jewelry makers, and agri-businesses to export to neighboring member countries, reshifting their targets away from the traditional markets such as Europe and America. Homegrown ASEAN brands are already thriving. A Malaysian airline has swiftly risen to be among the world's best low-cost carriers and has never been more proud to call itself truly ASEAN. While a quick service restaurant company has challenged itself to do business beyond borders and today prides itself in having more than 2,000 stores in 6 ASEAN countries. Now, more than ever, doing business will be easier in and outside of the Philippines with partner countries.
Let me share with you our ABC for the AEC. First, audit your environment. Understand the threats and opportunities locally and in neighboring countries. Second, build your brand. Align your brand with the market needs. Remember that you have to be as good or even better than the competition. Third, re-examine all the communication channels you're using and make sure to address a wider audience.
The business potentials ring loud and clear. An abundance of opportunity is here now within ASEAN.
The greatest, inspiration I can offer to the Filipino business leaders and workers is not to be afraid, but to get information, to find out, to go headlong into this opportunity. Be confident. The Philippines has a huge advantage in this integration. English speaking. We're crossing 10 borders here. The languages of many of the countries that we're talking about do not cross borders.
We should level up and collaborate and be part of the more dynamic segment of the global supply chain.
In 2015 gives us the opportunity to participate in a huge market with 650 million population. So this should be our anchor going forward, and that we are ready now and prepare ourselves to service such a huge market beyond our shores.
It is our time. The Philippines has so many things going in its favor right now, and we only need to dream bigger and try harder. That's how we will succeed in AEC 2015.
Moving as one, we can compete in key sectors with other regional blocs and bigger economies. The ASEAN economic integration mandates cooperation, not competition. It is about collaborations that foster regional pride. Ultimately, it is not just about countries, but the combined market strength of an entire region rising as one. Get ready for the ASEAN Economic Community.